Thank you very much. I'm Nicholas de Mattos. I'm a tutor and student of the School of Philosophy and Economic Science. I'm sorry this is a bit late. We've had technical problems. I'm going to talk to you this morning about Plato. So Plato was born with the name Aristocles, the son of Ariston, into an aristocratic family between 428 and 423 BC, at a time when his home city of Athens had just begun a long war with Sparta. The name Plato was actually, as the story goes, a nickname given to him by his wrestling coach. It means wide or broad, so that we can imagine he was stocky and well built. Maybe like the slide I was going to show you, which I can't show you, I'm afraid, but without a beard. At the time, jewelry on men was a mark of aristocratic descent, so as a youth, we might picture him with earrings and finger rings, quite the lad. He had two brothers, Adimantus and Glaucon, who feature in the Republic, arguably Plato's most famous dialogue. The three youths came under the early influence of Socrates, the philosopher who declared that he knew nothing. Plato would beg to differ, although his dialogues recount the many instances of Socrates' modus operandi. Although he said he knew nothing, he was quite prepared to show men who thought they did that they too knew nothing. In the end, of course, Socrates made too many powerful enemies, and as is well known, he was put to death on trumped-up charges. One of these, ironically, was that of corrupting the young, and it's a measure of the degree of this injustice that Plato, who was one of these of Plato, the modern philosopher A.N. Whitehead, said the safest general characterization of the European philosophical tradition is that it consists of a series of footnotes to Plato. Plato was widely traveled, visiting Italy, Sicily, Egypt, and Cyrene. At the age of 40, he founded his philosophical school just outside Athens, in the grove of Academus. According to myth, Academus had been a rich Arcadian who had settled on an estate on the banks of the river Cephissus. When Theseus and Perithous abducted Helen, later of Troy, when she was a young girl with the intention of casting lots and marrying her later, her brothers Castor and Polydeuces, known as the Dioscuri, pursued them to Athens and demanded to know where they had hidden her. When the Athenians refused to tell them, they began to destroy the lands around Athens until Academus, amongst others, recognizing the injustice of Theseus' actions, revealed her hiding place. The Spartans thereafter held him in great esteem, and when even then he had turned his gardens into a retreat for philosophers, they refrained from damaging the grove of Academus for the next 800 years. Hence, Plato's school became known as the Academy. So it could be said that Plato showed considerable wisdom and knowledge of the times, past and present, in his choice of site for his own ship, as it were. It operated for a further 300 years until it was destroyed by the Romans. It spawned many philosophers, notably Aristotle, who, though he had been taught personally by Plato and loved and respected him, their philosophies diverged. There's a famous painting of the Academy, and it shows the two figures of Plato and Aristotle standing in the center of the picture. And Plato is doing this, and Aristotle is doing this. So Plato's got his hand up, finger up, pointing up, and Aristotle has his hand in front of him. And this actually demonstrates their diverging philosophies. Plato was what is known now as a priori. That was his philosophical stance, i.e., that he believed that knowledge came from intuition. And Marsilio, the Platonic philosopher in Renaissance times, and hence the artists, felt that intuition came directly from God, so which is why Plato is pointing upwards. And Aristotle, on the other hand, felt that was a posteriori, and he felt that knowledge came from what was in front, from what could be seen. So in the noble tradition of teachers, Plato was adept at analogy. And the quote from his Republic, which we'll look at today, I don't know if I can put it in chat. Let me see if I can do that. This is from the Republic, and actually two of the characters in this particular dialogue feature his brothers, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to try and put this in chat. Bear with me for a minute or two. So there we are. The sailors are quarrelling with one another about the steering. Everyone is of the opinion that he has the right to steer, though he has not learnt the art of navigation. They throng around the captain, imploring him to give them the helm. If at any time they do not prevail, but others are preferred to them, they kill the others or throw them overboard. Then, having chained up the captain, they mutiny and take possession of the ship and make free with the stores. The true pilot must pay attention to the year and the seasons, the sky, the stars and the winds, whatever else belongs to the art of navigation. So obviously this is an analogy, and I suppose there are two possible interpretations of this. One is of the ship of state, and we've seen a bit of this, haven't we, in our politics. We've seen quite a lot of sailors crowding around the captain, wanting to steer the ship. And we've seen one or two captains being thrown overboard, haven't we? Well, there's another interpretation, which is that it refers to our own inner being. So if it is that, what do these different things represent? So here's a possibility. The sailors are our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, all the things which tend to crowd around and drown out the captain. And what are the year and seasons, the sky, stars and winds, whatever else belongs to the art of navigation? I suggest that these are philosophical precepts, our practices, moral code. What are the stores? Maybe they are our talents, what we've come with, the opportunities we have. And the captain, well, what is the captain but wisdom? Plato has him as the philosopher, but the philosopher, of course, is a personification of wisdom, which we all have a bit of. So the captain is often this still small voice of calm, quite often drowned out by these harsh voices of the ego. So I was thinking of an example of this from my own life, and the best one I can come up with is a time when I was teaching. I'm now retired, but I happened to have one day an unexpected free period. And those of you who are teachers will know how precious and delicious an unexpected free period is. So there I was, sitting at my computer, ready to go. But what? Suddenly, all these possibilities, all these jobs that I had to do, but also the possibility of just leaving the lot, going up to the staff lounge, having a cup of tea and a biscuit, and reading the paper, or doing that shopping that I hadn't had the chance to do. So all these things were crowding around. So being trained in practical philosophy and a good student, I sat down, I sat up, closed my eyes, and I just let everything that was crowding in go. But I resolved that whatever came into my mind, once my mind was clear, I would do. And sure enough, what came into mind was a job that I'd been putting off for weeks, that I thought was rather big, which is why I'd been putting it off. So I got on with it, and to my delighted surprise, I'd finished it by the end of the free period. Now, what are the elements in that? I think probably the sailors were all the things that were crowding in on the mind. The falling still, and maybe one or two other philosophical precepts were the sky, the stars, the winds, and whatever else belongs to the art of navigation. Then the captain. Well, the captain was unseen, but he or it was responsible for putting that into my mind, the job that I've been putting off for weeks. So you might want to try that, and you never know, maybe what pops up is going and have a cup of tea and reading the paper. So if you've enjoyed this, then do like it. I'm sorry there weren't any slides, but maybe another time. Thank you.